Good afternoon, Stuart here with another Psychotherapist reaction. There's more about me in the description below, plus ways of how to request reactions. I'm trying to shorten these intros a little bit. So today we have a request from Mac, who very kindly supported the channel through Buy Me a Coffee, and they have requested Flower Boy by PROF live from Powderhorn Sweets. So here it is.
All right, let's go.
That's a big sigh and a big breath.
I've never had a happy family. My entire life, my family has never had a moment of peace, a moment of happiness, a moment to breathe. My entire life, I've never had a happy family. Papa mad to be safe, best bring someone else with you. Navigating violence and mental health issues. Yeah. My entire life, I've never had a happy family. Trauma's in the bones, it resonates. Minnesota, Section 8, hard times perpetuate. Driving blindfolded just a test of faith.
This seems like an appropriate time just to pause and just to think about what we've heard already. You know, such hard experiences through life. Never experienced happiness. There's never been any peace. So always that feeling of being unsettled, feeling unsafe, I'm guessing. Had a father who sounds like he was violent. And I think Prof said there that he was battling both violence and mental health issues. So I'm guessing by that he means his father had mental health issues, and Prof had to navigate that. And that's, you know, there's got to be a very tricky thing. And I don't know how old Prof was when he had to go through that. But nevertheless, difficult times. And he says he never had a moment to breathe. So he didn't have any time away from it. There was never any respite. It was probably quite relentless for him. And I'm not sure what Minnesota Section 8 means. In fact, it seems relevant, so give me 2 secs. Okay, so a quick Google of Minnesota Section 8 seems to be some sort of housing system for low-income families. So we're throwing financial hardship into the mix, into the context of Prof's life as well. So difficult. And you can tell this isn't a story. You know, this is real. You can see how affected he is by these experiences in his facial expressions, in that big sigh that he took right at the beginning of the track. You know, he was building himself up to this performance. You can hear his experiences in his voice. It's amazing, isn't it? Even if this didn't have words, as one human to another, you would be able to attune to him, you know, probably pick up on the emotion that's here already. Wow, this is going to be good.
It's just a test of faith.
Look at that hand wringing.
Give me one more vulnerable moment. Give me one more vulnerable moment. There's a woman in my black.
I mean, let's just touch on that. Give me one more vulnerable moment. You know, with everything that's happened, everything that he's already explained that's happened in his life, he wants a moment to be vulnerable. One more moment. And I don't think he means vulnerable as in, I want to be unsafe here, as in for people to, for him to put himself in a vulnerable position for people to take advantage of him. I think he means be vulnerable as in, let me open up and express all of this. Let me put myself in the vulnerable position of sharing this experience. And there's something really interesting behind that, I think. There's always, at some level, this drive to process what has happened. The brain wants to make sense of it, whether that's through art, whether that's through music, whether that's through talking with friends or talking in a group or talking to people who have had similar experiences, or maybe talking with a therapist. It doesn't have to be therapy, or it doesn't have to be with a therapist. The other activities I've just named can still be therapeutic. Talking therapy with a therapist is just a means to processing the experience. It's just something that facilitates that, but it's not the only way. Wow.
Moment. Give me one more vulnerable moment. There's a woman in my backseat. She been driving me all winter long. She been holding a hammer over my head all winter long. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. There's a woman in my backseat. She keep telling me in a mile you'll be on your way.
Just look at this bit again. So this is interesting. Watch his eyes and where he's looking.
There's a woman in my backseat. She been driving me all winter long. She been holding a hammer over my...
He's just looking straight. He hasn't looked anywhere else. And it's not because there's something particularly interesting in front of him. I mean, there might be a camera person. But he's not like looking around at his surroundings. It's probably not a particularly good looking wall in front of him that he's taken an interest in. He is in his head. He is experiencing what he's singing. He is part of that experience and that emotion. Okay, he's not just singing and thinking about something else. He is in this. You can see he's almost dissociated from the present moment, and he's in this song. He is in what he is describing to us. He is experiencing it right now. Just look how focused he is.
There's a woman in my backseat. She been driving me all winter long. She been holding a hammer over my head all winter long. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. There's a woman in my backseat. She keep telling me in a mile you'll be on your way. In a mile you'll be feeling fine. All winter thinking about killing us both. She tells me that she's thankful for the car ride. This will pass and we just going through some hard times. That she's happy that she's living well on our side, like I got sides. She tells me that she's happy crawling. It's been a long winter, she can hear the spring calling. Her head is flying, but her body's drowned. This family's haunted. I've never met anyone as delusional as her. Anyone here think we might need to change?
Oh, okay, let's touch on that before we get to this part here. And the music in this beat is just perfect for this, isn't it? It kind of stays out of the way. It's part of the song, but it's not in your face. You're just concentrating on Prof and what he's saying and what he's expressing. And there was quite a lot of metaphor there, I think. So let's break this down a little bit so I can try and make sense of it. I've got the words up here as well. So there's a woman in my backseat. She's been driving me all winter long. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. She keeps telling me in a mile you'll be feeling fine. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. So this woman sounds like a metaphor for some part of him. Maybe a part that's pushing him forward. Maybe a part that is driving him forward. from the backseat of his mind. It's in there somewhere. And he talks about going through winter, so winter being those really dark and difficult times, trying to find some meaning in life despite the pain that he is experiencing and has experienced and is probably quite likely going to experience again in the future. And she tells me that she's thankful for the car ride. This will pass, and we're just going through some hard times. It's like that thing that therapists often say, isn't it? This storm will pass. You won't feel this way forever. And he's got a part of his mind is telling him that. But it seems like he's not really sure whether he believes that, as he talks about, ending it for both of them. And I guess that makes sense because, that voice is part of him. Then there's this interesting bit where she says, she tells me that she's happy crawling. It's been a long winter. She can hear the spring calling. So it's been a long winter this time. This period of time where he's been struggling has been long for him. And it's taking a while to get through it, like crawling. But, this part of him can see hope on the other side. This part of him can hear spring calling. And I wonder if he's been through this before. What's giving him that kind of that thought. I wonder if he's been through times of massive struggle, followed by times which are still hard, but relatively not as hard, and that's what's kind of pushing him. And then we have this bit where he says, her head is flying, but her body is drowned. This family is haunted. I've never met anyone as delusional as her. So is he saying, her head is flying, but her body is drowned? So she's got all these big ideas, but they're never going to come to fruition. The spring will never come. They're going to be stuck in winter forever. The pain of what he has been through and still likely going through is never going to go away. And she's delusional for thinking that. I mean, that makes loads of sense, doesn't it? I'm sure people are going to resonate with this. Yeah.
But her body's drowned, this family's haunted. I've never met anyone as delusional as her. Anyone here think we might need to change something? Or are y'all satisfied with living, saying nothing? Not too many things, blood is thinner than. No one in this fucking family is innocent. Well, is it possible to be happy in this world? Yeah. Lord help me if I ever have a girl. Sit and look at her, there's her blood running through your veins and through my veins. That won't change. Stay in your lane, yeah.
Keep looking forward, baby. Keep your eyes on it.
Wow. That emotion there. What has he been through and what has happened in that family? That almost sounds like an accusation, doesn't it? He says, anyone here think we might need to change something? Or are you all satisfied with living saying nothing? And then no one in this family is innocent. It seems like he's saying, and I'm part of my mind now is giving me caution. And I say seems like because I obviously don't know. And I don't want to suggest that I do know. And I don't want to, out of respect for Prof, because I don't know him. I don't really know what this song is about. I've listened to, 2 verses of a song. So, I'm not an expert in him. I'm basing all of this off my interpretation of what I've heard so far. and I don't want to be kind of disrespectful to his experience, but, you know, we've got to make some assumptions and talk about something in these videos. But it seems like he's saying that everyone had their part to play in whatever happened and whatever this environment was like for him, whether that's actively taking a part or whether that's not doing something, such as not speaking out or not taking action to stop something that is happening. You know, acts of omission are equally as damaging and painful as the actual act of doing something bad to someone else. But he has suffered. And I don't know exactly what or for how long for. But it's coming out. He's processing this.
Keep looking forward, baby. Keep your eyes
Is that
on
the
the
voice that he hears? Is it that woman in the backseat?
Ignore that. Don't look back.
She said, don't look back in the rearview mirror, I think. So it's like, don't look at the past behind you. Ignore that, although that's pretty much impossible to do. I think we know what she's trying to say. It's don't think too much about the past. Let's think about the future and move forward, because that's what we've got moving forward. But you kind of have to think about the past. You know, you can't really distract yourself from it. You can't push those thoughts away. You need to process it. That's clearly what he's doing.
Forward, baby. Keep your eyes on the prize. Don't look in the rearview mirror. Ignore that. Don't look back.
You've never been better than this.
Oh, it's a beautiful voice.
You've never felt better than this. You're on your way. The woman in my backseat, she been driving me all winter long. She been holding a hammer over my head all winter long. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. There's a woman in my...
He wasn't quite as emotive when he sung this same chorus the first time round. He was kind of hyper focused, but it was a bit flatter. Now look at the emotion coming through.
She been holding a hammer over my head all winter long. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. There's a woman in my backseat. She keep telling me a mile you'll be on your way. In a mile you'll be feeling fine. All winter thinking about killing us both. I can't help it, she been driving me all winter long. She been holding a hammer over my head all winter long. All winter I've been thinking about killing us both. There's a woman in my backseat. She keep telling me in a mile you'll be on your way. In a mile you'll be feeling fine. All winter thinking about killing us both. In a mile you'll be feeling fine. In a mile it'll be nothing but sunshine in your life all the time. In a mile you'll be on your way. In a mile you'll be feeling fine. You'll be feeling fine. I propose a toast that killing us both will be the best thing for us both. Yeah.
I'm not so sure about this now. I'm not so sure about this woman in the back seat. I may be now not thinking that it's a source of hope as I originally did, you know, a source of motivation to keep going. But she is perhaps the voice of telling him to actually end it. She's using terms like, she keeps telling me in a mile you'll be on your way, in a mile you'll be feeling fine, and in a mile it'll be nothing but sunshine. And I wonder now if actually she means that as in, if you end this, your pain will stop. You'll be free from pain forever. You won't have to carry on experiencing this. And that last line about proposing a toast, that ending it for them that ending it for them both will be the best outcome, will be the best thing for them both. That kind of resonates more with that, doesn't it? Oh, I'm not sure now. This is why it's really important to clarify and really understand and really try to understand what someone actually means in what they're saying, and why we have to come at this from a stance of curiosity and a stance of empathy, and not a stance that we assume to know what Prof is trying to say here and what his experience was. And not only what that voice was saying to him and his interpretation of the meaning behind that, but also the relationship he had with that voice and with that thought, and what that meant to him, kind of his relationship about his relationship with his own thinking process, and what that means and how much weight he puts in that in terms of directing his actual behavior. I mean, functionally speaking, both of those perspectives could make sense. On one side, there's this drive to keep pushing forward. Don't look back in the rearview mirror. Don't think about your past. That's happened. Let's focus on the future. Let's focus on what's important to us. Let's focus on making music and sharing our message. Let's focus on rebuilding our life. Let's find a way to process the pain, hold the pain. But then on the other side of this is the problem-solving part of the brain that says, you know what, there's one way that you could end all of this pain. And maybe look in the rearview mirror actually doesn't mean don't think about the past. It means don't look in the rearview mirror at all the things that are important to you or have been important to you. Just move away from them and don't look back at them. I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not even going to guess. This is just what's coming up for me as I experience this. You're going to have to let me know your thoughts. Maybe there's a kind of a backstory to this. Maybe Prof has opened up about this before, which would kind of help me out with that. I'm going to have to listen to this again, I think, after this. Because there's so much going on. There's the literal stuff that he's talking about in terms of what has actually happened to him. And then there's the metaphor, kind of underlying stuff to try and pick apart as well. But nevertheless, this is powerful. And I know from my clinical experience that a lot of people are gonna resonate with this. And I think what we might do after the finish, there's about 30 seconds left, have a just quick look through the comments. Not something that I usually do, but I'm interested to see what people are saying about this. So let's go back.
And killing us both will be the best thing for us both. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it's interesting, although it's hard to watch, it's interesting to see the energy impact. That's not a very good phrase, is it? But I think you know what I mean. Of just how much it's taken out of him to perform that. That is how raw and genuine and real it is for him. His adrenaline was probably through the roof. And, I wouldn't be surprised if his body was in a kind of a fight or flight response through that entire performance. You could see him hand-wringing a bit. There were some times where he was kind of moving away and it looked like he wanted to escape. There were times when he was just hyper-focused straight on, probably dissociating a little bit from the present. Once you get that fight or flight response and that adrenaline's pumping that keeps you going, when that wears off, you crash. You are fatigued. You are tired. And I think that's what we saw there at the end. That had an emotional toll on him. That had a cost. And we were privileged to witness that. What a track. Right, I said I was going to look through the comments. Let's have a quick look. So let's sort these by top comments. Let's see what people liked. So top one. I'm not mad that the industry or system won't promote Prof. It's a badge of honour, makes him way cooler. Artists that refuse to sell out are the only ones that are actually artists. So that's interesting. I wonder what happened there. There must be a backstory to that. Is he independent or is he signed? Has he refused to sign? The industry or system won't promote him. Why won't they promote him? Possibly because it's not really radio music, is it? It's far too powerful for that. Oh, here we go. So someone's replied to that saying, Prof is better off without the music industry. They would use and abuse him and then spit him out when they're done with him. He had the balls to stick with the people who have become his family that believed him and devoted their time and energy from the beginning without greed in their mind. Now he has his own label. Oh, there we go. Paving the way for upcoming talented artists to stay in the lane that provides guidance and support. My respect for Prof has just leveled up after reading that. For him to use his time and his energy and his experience and his skill and his contacts in this kind of industry to help others, it just tells you a lot about a person. So let's look at one more. You could not paint a better picture of what it is like to struggle with mental health. One of the best performances I've ever seen. Your art is phenomenal. Thank you. I agree. He has painted a very good picture of mental health, and that it's okay to open up and be vulnerable. Because the thing with opening yourself up and being vulnerable is, especially on the internet, you don't know what comeback you're going to get. You don't know what people are going to write in the comments. People write some very hurtful things. I know, I see it, I receive it. I receive messages that are very, very hurtful. Purposely hurtful as well. But, these first few comments I've looked at they're all about connection, connecting with Prof and relating to his story and thanking him for sharing. That's worth the trade-off. I'm proud AF to just be commenting and respecting this true art with such a small exclusive group of people that get it. I mean, if that doesn't say connection, I don't know what does. And he's right, it is true art. This is what music is about, sharing experience and connecting. Small group of people. How many people have watched this? 892,000 in the last 3 years. And he's got 287,000 subscribers. Obviously, I'll leave a link to this video in the description. Wow, that's a pretty big following, but given what I've heard, I'm surprised it's not higher. I'm surprised he's not up at 1 million subscribers, to be honest. Right, okay, let's leave it there before this video gets really long. But wow, Mac, thank you for sharing this with me. This is an incredible track. Viewers, subscribers, do you want more Prof? I like this guy. I think he's good. I don't know if this is his usual style, if this is what he usually kind of sings about. But do you want me to check out more? If so, let me know in the comments. Perhaps fill out the Google form that's in the description. That's it for this one, I think. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.